The original trilogy. Some of the most heartbreaking, plot-twisting, and intense films in all of cinema. But what if I told you things were even crazier? Well, throughout these 3 films, there were many deleted scenes that would have changed the way we see Star Wars forever. In this video, we're gonna break down 10 of these deleted scenes, and as the list goes on, it gets pretty insane. So let's get right into it. Number 10. One of the craziest, most unusual deleted scenes on this list was one that took place in Return of the Jedi. Shortly after the iconic Sarlacc pit scene, we saw Jabba's sail barge explode, and from there, Luke and his friends took off. However, here's the problem. After they took off, the scene just cuts to the Falcon leaving the planet, and we really never get to see how they got to the Falcon. Well, originally, they were going to be trapped in a sandstorm on their way there, and as you can see, it was pretty brutal. Luke, Han, Leia, and even the droids were struggling out there, but luckily in time, they arrived at the ship. Now, here's where things get a bit weird though. As they all stood before the Falcon, Luke told the rest that he had to go see an old friend, which of course was Yoda, who was on Dagobah. However, before he left, he kissed Leia right on her lips here. Now, personally, I'm glad this scene wasn't added, just since Luke and Leia are of course twins, and unlike The Empire Strikes Back, we actually learn in this movie that they're siblings. I will say though, despite this scene being weird, there was one part to it that's kind of nice. After Leia, kissed her own brother, Luke and Han shared a brief moment together. Although this scene was deleted due to pacing, it shows a rare occasion where Han appreciates Luke, and honestly I think it's really cool to see. Number 9. As for this next deleted scene, this one also takes place in Return of the Jedi. However, this one is way different than the last one we spoke about. Before the Sarlacc pit scene even happened, we would have seen Luke in a cave constructing his new lightsaber. As he was though, Vader would have sensed him through the Force and reached out to him.
Dark side of the Force. My son, it is the only way.
From there, Luke would have ignored him, but as he kept constructing his saber, he then would have ignited it and we would have then seen the green color. Now personally, while it would have been really cool to see this scene, it makes sense why it was removed. At the time, George Lucas wanted fans to be really surprised and shocked when Luke revealed his green saber in the Sarlacc scene. If this deleted scene was added, it would have explained how he built the saber, but it would have also taken away from that surprise element. Regardless though, it's really awesome to see. Now if only Luke just made his life a little bit easier by not getting captured by Jabba, but instead trying out Opera. You might be asking yourself though, what's Opera? Well, let me just show you myself. Opera is a reliable browser source with more tools than you can imagine. One of the coolest features they have is their tab islands, where you can basically just put all your tabs in one little island. Whether they're shopping tabs, travel tabs, work tabs, anything. Just simply hover one tab over another to create a tab island, and from there you can group them all based on theme, topic, or context and simply expand them or collapse when needed. Another great feature Opera offers is their split screen. This is personally one of my favorites, as all you need to do is just drag one tab downwards and your screen will just split into 2. This helps a lot with managing different things at the same time, especially if you like to multitask like me. However, this next feature they offer is perfect if you love listening to music while ever at the computer. Opera's detachable player option allows you to control your music without ever interrupting your browsing activities. You can just move the music player anywhere, both inside or outside of the browser, and you can even choose from a range of different streaming services. However, that's not all. Want your browsing experience to look cool? Well, you can also select through different themes and really play with endless combinations to find your favorites. You can customize everything yourself, like the mode, intensity, animation, sounds, colors, shaders, and some even support browser sounds and really cool animated backgrounds too. One of my favorite themes is called Midsummer. Its light colors and subtle glowy tones really help me stay in the zone and maintain focus throughout my work. But what are you waiting for? Try Opera out for yourself by clicking the link in the description box. Thank you so much to Opera for sponsoring us. Now let's get back into our next scene. Number 8. At number 8, we rewind back to The Empire Strikes Back for one of the funniest deleted scenes. Towards the start of the film, we all saw Han and Leia argue in this scene right here, until eventually Han took off. However, originally it was going to be revealed that a Wampa was in the same cave right behind them just lurking there. Eventually though, some pretty crazy stuff happened. Later on as the Empire attacked the Hoth base, Han and the crew began to escape. But take a look at 3PO here. As you can see, he has a look at this sign right here and then rips it off. However, this sign was actually a warning sign for the Wampa that was behind that door. So soon after he left, a bunch of snowtroopers showed up and tried going through that door, thinking that it was safe. Unfortunately for them, it wasn't, and one of them got ripped apart by the Wampa pretty fast. Number 7. Speaking of Wampas, we of course saw Luke get mauled by one of them and later on have his surgery. However, here's the crazy part. In the film, we only saw him in this bacta tank for a few seconds, when in reality, this scene was supposed to be way longer. Originally, Han, Leia, Chewie, and the droids were all waiting patiently in front of this tank, all sick worried whether he'd be okay or not. As you can see, they all had some pretty concerned looks on their faces, and this would have gone on for about 2 minutes or so, all looking at Luke while in his tank. Luckily in time though, the droids eventually informed them of the good news.
Commander Skywalker has been ill and Dormashot was responding well to the bacta. He is presently out of danger.
Although it was a short scene, it would have shown a bit of suspense to whether or not Luke survived the attack, and also just prove how much his friends cared for him. However, that wasn't the only deleted footage from that scene. Number 6. Coming in at number 6, we go minutes after when Luke is lying on his surgery bed. However, when we watched that scene, Luke was surrounded by all his friends in the room. In this deleted scene though, he's actually all alone with Leia, and the two share another intimate scene.
I'm fine. Leia, when I was out in that storm, I was real worried.
From there, she would have kept caressing his hair and the two almost even kissed. But then things took a turn. As 3PO then entered the room, Luke broke some news to Leia.
I'll be back later.
Leia, I have to go away for a while.
What? Where are you going?
To another system. It's not far from here.
That's great. That's just great. Why doesn't everybody just take off?
As we see, she was pretty angry, and she went on to say how much it bothered her that both Han and him were leaving. Now, although this scene was brief, I'm actually glad this one was deleted. Just like the Return of the Jedi scene we spoke about earlier, I don't think we need any more intimate Luke and Leia scenes. Number 5. At number 5, we take it back to the movie that started it all, A New Hope. Towards the start of the film, we saw 3PO and R2 crash land on Tatooine, and from there we saw the Empire arrive shortly after to find them. However, we almost got a scene with Vader in the midst of all this.
It's just a matter of time before we find the droids.
Send in more troops if you have to. It's her hope of that data being used against us, which is the pillar of her resistance to our mind probe.
Till then, we waste time with Governor Tarkin's foolish plan to break her.
Now, although this scene was deleted, it would have shown us a bit more into the motives behind some Imperial officers that disagreed with Tarkin. However, although it was cut, the scene was brought back into the Star Wars Holiday Special later on, just with a bit of different dialogue. Check it out.
It's just a matter of time before we find the rebels.
I want the rebels located and identified, if it means searching every household in the system.
So while the original was deleted, at least we got to see it reappear in the Holiday Special. Number 4. At number 4, we go into one of the most iconic scenes in Star Wars, the Cantina scene. However, it was almost way different. For the original Cantina scene, we would have seen tons of more characters, new shots, and new angles of the place. On top of that, we would have even seen Han kissing this girl right over here, which of course was never in the original. However, that's not all. There was one more addition that was pretty insane: Greedo versus Han. In the deleted version, we would have seen new angles of Greedo and extended dialogue between the two.
That is the idea, Solo. Now you come outside with me. Or must I finish it here?
I don't think they'd like another killing in here.
They'd hardly notice.
Then after Greedo said this, Han would have shot him dead right then and there. Although it was short, it would have really added more depth to their encounter here. Oh, and there wouldn't be a who shot first debate either. Number 3. At number 3 on our list, we have a bit of a crazy one. Remember this scene right here where Jabba and Han are walking together? Well, this scene was actually never in A New Hope and wasn't included until the 1990s when the special edition of the film came out. However, here's the crazy part. Not only was this scene never added, but originally Jabba was going to be a human played by the actor Declan Mulholland. So in the 90s, George Lucas not only included the scene, but eventually changed him into a CGI slug instead. Check out the original though.
For an extra 15%, I'll give you a little extra time. But this is it. If you disappoint me again, I'll put a price on your head so big, you won't be able to go near a civilized system for the rest of your life.
Now here's the crazy part. After Jabba said all this, we see Han say,
Jabba, you're a wonderful human being.
This of course was because Jabba was originally a human, not this big slug. So while they removed all the original footage of Jabba, they did leave all of Han's lines in, including that. Number 2. Entering one of the best deleted scenes from the trilogy, this one takes place at the very start of A New Hope. Now in the film, we saw Luke reunite with his best friend Biggs. However, Biggs almost had a way bigger role, and we almost got to see the friendship between the two before Luke joined the rebellion. As you can see, they were always happy together, and at one point, the two even shared a special moment.
Luke? I didn't come back just to say goodbye. I shouldn't tell you this, but you're the only one I can trust. See, I may never come back, and I just want someone to know.
From there, Luke was confused what Biggs was talking about, so he was there where Biggs revealed something.
When our frigate leaves for one of the central systems, we're gonna jump ship and join the Alliance.
The rebellion?
Once Biggs said this, Luke was fascinated, and in a way, his words inspired him.
It's what we always talked about, Luke. I'm not gonna wait around for the Empire to draft me into service. The rebellion is spreading, and I want to be on the side I believe in.
Personally, I love these different moments of the two together, and it really makes Biggs' sacrifice to save Luke later on that more emotional. However, the next scene on our list is even crazier. Number 1. Entering the top deleted scene on our list, we go into the final film of the trilogy, Return of the Jedi. Later in the movie, we all saw Luke and Vader along with the Emperor, meanwhile the rest of the crew was below on Endor. However, here's the crazy part. As the Emperor sat next to Luke and Vader, he contacted one of his officers, ordering him to destroy the Endor moon.
Yes, Your Highness. Commander, should the rebels manage to blow up the shield generator, you will turn this battle station onto the Endor moon and destroy it.
However, here's where things get even crazier.
But we have several battalions stationed on the moon. You will destroy it.
As you can see, this officer was clearly hesitant on shooting down on the Endor moon, mainly since some of their own forces and troopers were down there. However, as we saw, Palpatine didn't care and ordered him to fire anyway. This just proves how ruthless he was and how some of his own officers didn't always agree with his actions and how brutal the Empire really was. Personally, this would have been a really good scene to be added, but I want to know from you. Out of all the scenes we've spoken about on this list, which would you have wanted to be added? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you always.